Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners. Sprint Ride Option Podcast. Hello. We are here to talk about a 49ers win. Not just a win, but a very good win today. This is the Sprint Ride Option Podcast. Probably should introduce who we are before we dive into it. I am Andrew Pasquini. I got Jason Aponte to my right. Jason, how are you doing on this lovely Tuesday? Usually record on Mondays, but it's Tuesday because the Niners played last night.
Eating a bunch of crow and enjoying it. And this is like the best case scenario in terms of being wrong. And we learned a few things that we're going to get into. Namely, the 49ers do own the Rams, and it doesn't matter about Jared Goff. I mean, it's an indisputable fact at this point. Like, I don't think anybody can really dispute that at this point.
Imagine picking the Rams to beat the 49ers. Couldn't be this podcast. Wasn't us. Don't just ignore the episode from Friday. You didn't listen to that. I found it funny that I predicted the final score to be 31-13, and it was almost just the complete opposite of what I had it. Jason, I feel like the word you've been saying all season is complete game, and we got one last night. I don't know how to really open this episode because of how well they played yesterday as a whole. And it as negative as it sounds, like it wasn't in my realm of possibilities that this would have happened, just because of what the Niners have been the past couple weeks, or not even the past couple weeks, this season. And the Rams, obviously they had the game against Tennessee that they talked about quite a bit last night. Got a lot of comments. I love all the comments. But the Rams are the Rams, man. They've been the class of the NFC West the past, couple of years. And I know the Niners had the NFC West in 2019. But yeah, man, the way the Niners played versus who the Rams have been, like I didn't expect this outcome. Like full honesty for me. I did not think that we would come into this podcast on Monday. I thought it was possible that we could be talking about a Niner win, a close Niner win. But I didn't expect last night one bit. Just full honesty here.
Yeah, it seems like the only person who really knew was Steve Young and maybe a handful of other people, but it seemed like the world was in on the Rams, and it would be stupid of us to not look at how our thought process was, where the 49ers were. Could you have expected this? No. And it wasn't because Odell Beckham joined. That was not it.
Yeah, Troy Aikman. Get out of here.
Troy Aikman. Goodness gracious, man.
Cowboys suck.
In a world of bad takes, Troy Aikman just stands alone. But yeah, it would be wrong of us to sit here and act like we knew this was coming. It was a great shock, and we'll take it. But the 49ers did something that they, like you said, haven't done all year. Complete game. Executed their game plan flawlessly. Jimmy Garoppolo did exactly what was asked.
No. But Jason, he only threw the ball 5 yards down the field every time. Jason.
Yeah, but that felt like the Packers game. Almost like
exactly. That was my thought. That was my first thought. At the first half, it was like, oh, this is the Packer game.
Yeah, like exerting your dominance, imposing your will. And here's the thing. I mean, a lot of this has to do with what the 49ers did on their side of the ball, but a lot of this has to do with the Rams. And what I mean by that is everyone in the world knew that the 49ers were going to try to just come out here and run the ball, and Jimmy Garoppolo was going to throw the ball in the middle of the field. But it seemed like the Rams had no idea.
No.
And that's the part that's, man, are the 49ers really owning them, or are the Rams just not as good as we think they are? Because that's just horrific game planning.
Yeah, the 49ers have 44 runs last night compared to 19 passes. That's a ratio, because like obviously, like I've said it and we've said it before that like the run game needs to set up the pass game, all that fun stuff. That's 44 runs and 19 passes is you're just dominating. And I know the Niners averaged less than 4 yards a carry last night, which, whatever. That's I don't care. They got 156 rushing yards out of it. The Niners just dominated the run game, and that's what they did. That's what they did. And Jesse, keeping our advanced analytics guy, the 49ers are indeed 4-0 when the Niners score more points than their opponent. I love Jesse. He's our unofficial analytics guy. And that was the other point I was going to get to. The time of possession. The Niners had the ball 2/3 of this game. 39:03 to 20:57. Like this wasn't like, I don't want to overstate it, but this was an ass kicking. This was an ass kicking, and at no point did I feel like maybe early in the second quarter, the Rams, I think they had their scoring drive where they figured out, or no, it wasn't the second quarter. Oh no, it was the first quarter. It was the first quarter, and then the second touchdown when they started throwing the ball more towards Josh Norman's side was when I was like, oh God, like, okay, we'll see what happens. I know the Rams got it a little closer at that point. And then the Niners just went on like a 15 play drive again. Like that's just kind of what the Niners did. They made it 21-7. And there it was. I mean, it really was over from that point. The Niners dominated. This was an ass kicking. That's just what it was. And like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The Niners kicked the Rams' ass, and it is what it is.
Yeah, and the other thing is the only real concern that was going into that, I mean, going through that game was, man, his pass rush isn't getting there. You can't allow Matthew Stafford to like hang around. But I mean, and this is a great point by Tio here too, man. That fake field goal, Sean McVay, what on earth are you doing, man? Like, that was just so desperate. You take your points right there. And for you to think that works, also, props to DJ Jones. DJ Jones is an athlete. There's video of him dunking a basketball. That man was out there and blew that play up. And there's a lot of stars to go around in this game, and that's the fun part about this game. This is another thing. That was a fun-ass game.
Yes.
And thank God that the 49ers were able to do this, because I think not only, you and I, but the fan base, 49ers Twitter needed this. Now, yes, we wake up today and there's people still nitpicking, but those people are just angry at life. And that's something completely different.
They got their narratives. We get it.
Right. But, man, it's literally the most fun game. That was 2019 vibes.
Yes. Oh,
that was 2019 vibes.
My girlfriend watched a little bit of the game last night at her house, and she texted me, and she's like, "They looked really good. They look good." And I was like, and I've been dating her for like a year and a half now. And I straight up said, I think that was the best game they've played since I've known you. And I went back and thought about it, and that might have been the best game the Niners have played since the Packers game in 2019. Like I can't remember a game as good as that. So yeah, it just overall, man, like what a win. And I talked about how this felt like a game that would be a test for some Niner fans because the Rams jumped out early on national TV and things like that. We're going to see how patient Niner fans actually are with things. And it ended up being the opposite. The Niners just jumped out to a lead and said, nah, we're good. We're fine. Everything's fine. And I don't even like, it's such a good win for the Niners. Like I think to me, the easiest things we've done for all these podcasts have been the 3 stars at the end of the podcast, right? Because the games have been where there's probably only 3 players we've really had a reason to say something about. I genuinely don't know where I want to start with this game because I feel like there's a million places we can start. We could start with either Jimmy, Garoppolo, or Ward. Do you want to start there? Do you want to start with Elijah Mitchell? Do you want to start with Debo?
No, we're going to start
with where do you want to start, Jason Aponte?
Let's start from the beginning.
Good place to start.
First drive. Hello, Jimmy Ward.
Hello, Jimmy Ward.
Hello, idiots who don't understand what Jimmy Ward does.
Ooh.
And now you get interceptions. So you can be quiet. You can finally be quiet because you don't know what you're talking about. This has been a weird weekend. Jamal Adams gets an interception. Kevin King gets interceptions. Jimmy Ward breaks his drought. He hadn't had an interception since 2016. For all of you people that had that narrative in your mind, get it out of your mind. Mm-hmm. Now all of a sudden this defense looks different on the back end, makes plays, and looks a lot more cohesive. Because Jimmy Ward's there? Do you finally understand? Did you get a chance to watch Arizona and watch Tavon Wilson get baked? That's what Jimmy Ward brings. And the fact that he got those interceptions was straight up vindication. Now, I don't want to hear a word. I don't want to hear anything. Okay, you cannot get interceptions when they don't throw the ball your way. And very many times, guys get interceptions because they are tested over and over and over. You notice they never test Jimmy Ward. And you
Mhm.
know what? Interceptions are lucky, like the second one, which was a drop by Tyler
Mhm.
Higbee. He just happened to be in the right spot and he intercepted it. Interceptions are not how you gauge
No.
safety play. So stop it already at this point. You
Yeah.
got what you asked for now, and now there is no question. And I am so happy for the man because it took the 49ers fan base so long to understand how good he is. And he is, right now, the driving force of this defense with Nick Bosa. It's the both of them on the back
Mhm.
end. On the
Yeah.
back end and on the front, it's those two. And it's not even close. It's not even close.
Yeah, and you mentioned his 2 interceptions, the stat I tweeted out during the game. Entering last night's game, Jimmy Ward had 2 career interceptions. After the first quarter last night, he had 4 career interceptions. That's a pretty good game, I would say, from Jimmy Ward, and that's somebody we've hyped up on this podcast, and it really set the tone early. Um, Tom
That's a good
Compton,
comment.
Tom
Bring it
Compton
up.
had a good
Bring it
time.
up. Bring it up. We'll get it out the way right now. Go
Yeah,
for it.
hey,
We
he
just
had
comment.
that one play that he looked like a turnstile against Von Miller, but the offensive line, man, is like a good umpire. When they're good, you don't notice it really. And,
Right.
and Tom Compton had one of those nights. And actually, I did want to talk about one of my notes I had. I thought it was very interesting because Jaylen Moore started the game, left the game with a knee injury. I didn't even realize. Jason had to tell me. Three of the first 4 runs were toss plays to Jaylen Moore's side. And I don't know if that's coincidence because they knew they were going to have the outside, whatever it may be. But like you think about it on the other side, you have the best run blocking left tackle in the NFL with Trent Williams, but the Niners set the tone to the right side behind Jaylen Moore. And I thought that was very interesting. But yeah, the line as a whole, not even just Tom Compton, had a very good game. This was a complete Niner game. I mean, it was a little slow with the pass rush. I think if anything I had to complain was the pass rush, but they picked it up in the second half and probably makes more sense just because the Rams had to throw the ball a little bit more behind as much as they were. But I mean, you go through, the quarterback played well, the running backs played well, the receivers played well, the tight ends played well, the offensive line, the linebackers, Aziz Al-Shaair, how you doing? He looked real good last night. The secondary played fine. Like a complete game.
Right.
Robbie Gold didn't miss a PAT.
Or he hit a 50-yarder.
And
Miracles
he hit a
do
50
happen.
yarder. Like, come on, man. What
Look,
a game. What a game.
So real quick with the Tom Compton thing, he played fine, but obviously the game plan was no matter who was going to be in there, whether it was Jaylen Moore or him, it was to get the ball out fast, and that makes a lot of sense. So for the people who are like, where are the deep shots? Why would you line up deep shots when you know that that's what's going to like expose your linemen? Okay, guys. So this is the thing. Unfortunately, I think that obviously the Jaylen Moore thing doesn't seem like it's too much of a serious injury. My problem with it is we didn't get a chance to evaluate him at right tackle because there was one play where Aaron Donald breezed right by him with a veteran move where Jaylen Moore was like literally trying to block air and Donald was already behind him. That's just one play, and that's a tough ask of anybody, let alone a rookie. Okay, so I'm not going to kill him for that. But I think that's the part that kind of bothered me the most was we didn't get to see him get full reps there, and we don't really know exactly what he is yet. But yes, in terms of what Tom Compton did, he got in the game. It looked a little bad, fine, whatever, but the 49ers had a great plan. Jimmy Garoppolo executed it very well. Get the ball out fast. Do not allow these linemen to have to block for too long developing routes, because then you're playing into more Ram strengths, which is Jalen Ramsey down the field, being a ball hawk and things like that. So I again, Kyle Shanahan designed a game plan. He executed it. And for the first time, like you said, the 49ers had a complete game. Starts with Jimmy Ward on that first one, but let's go to Jimmy Garoppolo now on this one. Look, guys, I don't know what more. I'm starting to get to a point where this whole discourse around Jimmy Garoppolo has become super annoying. Okay. And I mean, it has been for a while, but now it's really annoying. Today, it is hit like a fever pitch. They asked the man to literally manage the game, make the throws that are right there in front of you, keep the ball moving, all of those things. He does it, and you guys scoff at it. Like, oh, well, what? Come on. They won the game because he managed the ball. He had one no throw, but he was fine. He was fine. And Jimmy is Jimmy, man. Jimmy is Jimmy. And he executed fine. What is the big deal?
Mhm.
What is the big deal, man? You are nitpicking right now at the most complete game the 49ers have played because of whatever narrative. And that's annoying, man. It really is. It really is.
Oh yeah, no, I see people, before game. This isn't even just a last night thing. I see people tweeting out, hey, maybe today's the day Lance starts, or Lance takes over at halftime. And to me, that's just so ingenuine as a 49er fan, just because of the thought of like, well, if Lance is taking over at half, then that means the Niners aren't doing well. I thought Jimmy Garoppolo was pretty good last night. He wasn't asked to do much, and then I tweeted it. Maybe maximizing Jimmy Garoppolo is minimizing it. But you look at that fourth down throw, man. Like I know that's not like a deep pass or nothing, but 4th and 6, the Niners are looking to put the game away, and Jimmy Garoppolo gets the ball perfect place to Debo Samuel, who does what Debo Samuel does, and he makes a move. He gets to the end zone for a touchdown. Things like that, and I understand that Jimmy Garoppolo isn't, he's obviously, I don't think this is wild. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Tom Brady. He's not going to give you those deep, big throws, but he does have that ability to give you that big throw short. And I know that sounds a little contradictory, but he showed what he can be last night. And I know it wasn't in all terms, a spectacular game from Jimmy Garoppolo, at least stat wise. But if you watch that game, if you watch that game, you can I just don't see how you can complain about Jimmy Garoppolo.
Let me make one more point about Jimmy Garoppolo. Do not post that chart of his throws and make it seem like you're doing something. Because I'll tell you what, yes, there were not many air yards. They weren't thrown very far, but those were some tight window throws. And he threw with anticipation. Okay? So watch the game.
Yeah.
Don't give me the chart. Don't give me the air yards. Watch the game. Please.
And my thing is like, this is a fan base that loves their Yak brothers. They love their Yak brothers, Ayuk and Debo and Kittle and all them. They got that name because of what Jimmy Garoppolo does. Gets them the ball and they do the things. It like I understand the appeal of going deep. I understand it. Like, trust me, there's times where I sit there and say, take a shot. Why not? See what happens. But that's when we start stretching Garoppolo out a little bit more. Rico, only complaint was Kyle not playing Lance Sermon with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Let's get the rookies involved. I get that, but at the same time, like,
they were just going to run the ball a ton of times. I mean, I understand the Trey Sermon thing, but Trey Lance wasn't going to get any valuable reps in garbage time like that. They weren't going to throw any passes with him. He would have literally just been handing it off. So, I mean, I get the Trey Sermon point of that. I definitely do, but the Trey Lance one, that one's a little bit different. I mean, if the game was like out of hand and the 49ers are losing and you want to like see some things, that's fine. But they were just protecting the lead and they were
totally. And I could see Rico coming back saying, well, what about Lance running? Now you're putting Lance at risk of injury when you don't need to. So things like that. Like, I understand the thought, definitely do. But to me, man, this is the NFL.
Hold on, this is a good comment right here.
Don't bench the starters, things like that. I heard Debo Samuel's Aaron Donald's father.
Actually, no. Say heard and say it the right way.
I heard H-U-R-D, Debo Samuel's is Aaron Donald's father. Is that true? Are they the same age? Actually, I was going to make the joke. Does Daniel Brunskill actually? Does he own Aaron Donald? I don't know. Haven't watched the tape, so I can't say that.
Oh, yes, he does.
Oh, he does. Okay, Jason can confirm. But yeah, man, like I guess that's all I really had to say about the quarterback position. I don't know what more you could ask for from.
This is going to be a fun episode. This is going to be a fun episode because there's so many good things to talk about. My bad. No,
yeah, 15 for 19, 182, 2 touchdowns. What more can you ask for from him? And like, to the people who say, well, Trey Lance has more upside. Well, what does Trey Lance do last night? Does he make it 40-13? Like, what are we like? To me, this was the last. Like, I'm not burying the quarterback conversation because it's going to exist.
But this is 3 straight for Jimmy.
But this is 3 straight good games from Jimmy Garoppolo. He's obviously hitting a stride. Maybe it's time to stop questioning it and maybe start. If you want, I'll leave the questioning the no Trey Lance packages and all that stuff. You can have that conversation. But in terms of every down quarterback, I think Jimmy Garoppolo the last 3 games has shown why he earned that spot at the start of the regular season. And why he continues to have it, because he can make the offense room. right? Because the
Yeah.
offense looked fine. And I mean, like, should we? I wanted to like come up with a nickname, third down Jimmy, Jimmy three downs. Like, I don't know.
That looked like 2019 Jimmy on third down.
Like, it's just insane how when the Niners often, like, if the Niners at its peak, as weird as it sounds, is run, Jimmy gets the first down on third. Run, Jimmy gets the first down on third. And it really helps with those Yak brothers because I mean the first couple for third down conversions was Kittle gets to the first down marker and then makes it an 18-yard gain. Kittle gets to the first down marker, makes it a 10-yard gain. Things like that. So like everybody has a place in this offense. In order to have the Yak brothers, you got to have the quarterback who's getting the ball to them in spaces where they can move and make things happen. And that's what Jimmy Garoppolo did last night.
Yeah, another thing is too, and I'm glad that Christian brought this up because before I get to the formations that they had him in, it's very easy to convert 3rd and 2, 3rd and 4. You're not behind the sticks. They were on schedule when they weren't beating themselves with penalties and they were, moving the ball, correctly with the running game and controlling the clock. And this is exactly the formula that the 49ers had to use with the Rams. Keep them on the sideline, gas that defense, hold on to the ball, make sure that you're in good down and distance. And Jimmy Garoppolo delivered. That looked like 2019. But Christian brings up a great point. This is the first game that Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't exclusively under center. He only took, I believe, one play action pass from under center. That means putting his back to the defense and then turning it. He looks much more comfortable in shotgun. And Kyle Shanahan is starting to realize that. And that's why for everybody, man, why are they not, he's actually playing very well out of the gun. And I think that is something that they have found. And that's something that they're learning. So for everybody who, lauds Kyle Shanahan as a genius, you still learn while you're playing, right? You still learn from tendencies and you start to see when you're presented with new information, you have to be able to adjust. And Kyle Shanahan did that. On top of putting him in the gun because you obviously want him as far away from those pass rushes as possible. That also makes sense as well. But Jimmy Garoppolo looked amazing in the shotgun as well, too. And I wanted to make sure that we brought that up. Ron Shipman here. Hey, thank you for the donation, buddy. Rams linebackers suck. Good defense with linebackers will make Jimmy G struggle. I don't know about that. I think that what happened in this game is that the Rams secondary sucked more than anything. And that's not Jalen Ramsey, right? Tyler Rapp, and a bunch of those guys that are not, I mean, because they lost a bunch of players this year, that the one guy Johnson goes over to Cleveland. I feel like they didn't understand where their defensive alignments were because even on that 4th down play, Tyler Rapp's not even playing that correctly. You have a guy already in your area that's there to carry the route, and you still didn't jump into that lane. Like it's that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the Rams. Maybe this is more about the Rams are not as good as everybody thinks they are because what was his game plan? What were they thinking? No. And when I watched the tape today, I'm watching it and I'm like, man, why don't any of you know that middle of the field, your secondary, you should be jumping all of those things. The Green Bay Packers did it. In any game that Jimmy Garoppolo's really kind of struggled or in any way, everybody's done that. What were you thinking in this game? So I wouldn't put it on the linebackers as much as I would put it on the secondary. And this is a division rival. Yeah. This isn't a team that you play once every 4 years. You played them twice, and you've lost 5 straight with Jimmy Garoppolo knowing what he wants to do. I mean, you lost the last one to Nick Mullins last year, but Jimmy Garoppolo is who he is at this point. I'm not a defensive coordinator, but I would try to scheme it up like, man, make him throw the ball outside the numbers, please. Yeah. Can we just literally put 5 guys stand in the middle of the field and make him throw somewhere else?
Well, and it's crazy too because if you fill the box like that, you're gonna ideally do better against the run game as well. I didn't know what Los Angeles was trying to do last night defensively, and it is what it is, man.
Felipe has a good one here for you.
Clutchopolo, man. I want something specifically for 3rd downs though, because that's where Jimmy cooks. We'll come up with some. We'll brainstorm something here. Where do we want to go? Because I think that's enough on Garoppolo. I think the conversation's
Jimmy Ward, Jimmy Garoppolo, boom.
Perfect.
I want to talk about Trent Williams.
Trent Williams, let's do it. He's good.
I don't even know what to say. He is so good that you never hear him ever be talked about.
No.
And I watched the tape. I watched him throw Leonard Floyd to the ground. I watched him throw anybody in front of him to the ground. How are you still this good? I'm blown away by Trent Williams right now. And I know that PFF isn't the Bible, end all be all.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, he is on pace. He's the highest graded offensive player in the league. Yeah. Anybody.
And it's like 99.
Right. It's like 99.9.
Yeah, it's as close to 100. They don't want to say he's perfect, so they knocked him off one.
He's literally on pace to be the highest graded offensive player in PFF history. Now, again, I know it's not the Bible, but guess what? That fits my narrative, and I'm going to make sure I use it, and I'm going to push it right in this direction. But my goodness, man. Think about Trent Williams was this close to signing with the Kansas City Chiefs. This close. Mm-hmm. Until Kyle Shanahan busted in that door and told Parag Marat, you get on that phone and you get him in here right now.
Please give him a blank check. I don't care.
Because he was about to let him walk because of a computer and the numbers that they were running. Trent Williams right now, we're going to have a debate. We can have a debate about this, and this could be an almost hour-long show about this.
Yeah.
Trent Williams is the best player on this offensive side of the ball. That includes Debo Samuel.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. That's. I think that's been known. Offensive linemen never get the love they deserve. I absolutely agree. Kayeth, I would assume on Madden, Trent Williams is around a 99. I'm sure there's like retired Madden players who could tell you that. But yeah, Trent Williams has been.
Oh my goodness, that was
insane.
That was great. That was
Trent
perfect.
Williams has been so good, and you mentioned Leonard Floyd real quick. I want to go back to Jimmy Garoppolo because Jimmy Hardcounts came back last night as well. He got a couple offsides. I loved it. I kind of just want to play this game in the chat of just have them say a name and we could say what we liked about them. That's how good of a game. Christian telling me he's a 93. Thank you very much. I have to say that in a few years. Way too low. Also, man, they had that week where they had Justin Tucker go up to like a 99. How is Justin Tucker not a 99? Jimmy Third Donalo. Okay, we're brainstorming. I like it. I like these attempts. I'm going to say another name, Debo Samuel, name that's very familiar to this podcast. My friend Kyle Madsen had a tweet per the Pro Football Reference Game Finder. Samuel is the first receiver ever to have 5 rushes, 5 catches, and a touchdown on both the ground and in the air in the same game.
Where would this team be without Debo Samuel? Seriously.
No
hyperbole. No hyperbole. My goodness, man. I'm just happy because I started to see it at camp. When I was there, I was like, man, he's like the best player on this team right now. And it translated immediately. I mean, he's the biggest X Factor, Swiss Army knife, line him up wherever. And this is what Kyle Shanahan did so great when I got a chance to watch this, right? Because everybody would say, man, well, if you're the Rams, why don't you put Jalen Ramsey all on Debo Samuel and just try to wipe him out of the game?
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Shanahan knew that. That's why. You line him up in the backfield and you have Jeff Wilson line up as the tight end. And now you have Jalen Ramsey and you make him be a run defender.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I know there was no game balls given out. Kyle Shanahan took the game ball home.
Great move by Kyle, by the way.
Gave it to himself.
Great move by Kyle. That's a great coaching thing. Like, no, this was a team effort. No individual gets the game ball. We did.
But in terms of Debo Samuel, man, he is ascending to top 12, top 10 wide receiver right now. That's the discussion that needs to be had. And he is a top 5 offensive weapon. And that's a different discussion in terms of receiver, because receiver just means you're running routes. What Debo Samuel does can't be quantified and can't be put in a box.
Yeah.
And he is 27 yards from being the first 49er wide receiver with 1,000 yards receiving since Anquan Bolden in 2014. And there is 8 games left. 8 games left. Ridiculous season. Remarkable. And Cooper Kupp goes on a bye this week.
So we'll see.
So get him to number 1 at receiving yards. He's only 4 yards off of the pace in terms of yards per game. And those rushing yards are not accounted for when you talk about the receiving yards. My goodness, Debo Samuel has been an absolute joy this year to watch.
I'm just going to throw it out there. You talk about his importance. And I think part of it is nobody's really taken hold. I think Debo Samuel needs some week 11 MVP consideration.
Yes.
I think
MVPs are usually quarterbacks, but yes, man,
very much. But like, what quarterback has taken a hold on the MVP this year? Usually, there's somebody, and there hasn't been anybody. And I think I'm not trying to sit here and say Debo Samuel is going to win MVP. Don't go tell your friends that. But let's
talk about it.
Maybe there's a conversation to be had. That's all I'm asking for. I mean, yeah, you mentioned it. He's 21 yards off of 1,000. The Niners haven't had an 1,000-yard receiver since.
The guy that everybody says is him, Anquan Boldin.
There's still 8 games left this season. There's still 8 games left. And Debo, like he should have 1,000 by the end of the first quarter on Sunday.
I'm going out on a limb that he'll get it next week.
Yeah, like he should have it next week. And like it's insane too, because usually let's just go back to 2019, right? Like, I'm going to go to 2019. I'm going to look past 2020 because that year, let's throw that year out. And you look at the receiving yards for this team. Kittle's not a receiver. He had 1,000, so he doesn't count on the receiver thing. The next closest is Debo, 800. Emmanuel Sanders, 502. Usually the Niners are pretty balanced with how they spread the love. And Emmanuel had 502 because he was only with the team for half the year. Debo Samuel right now, as I'm trying to find the proper sort, has 979 receiving yards. The next closest guy on the team is George Kittle with 378. Like George Kittle is the number one target on this, or Debo Samuel is the number one target on this team. It's not even close. He's the best offensive weapon this team has seen since insert name here. Like, I don't know. How far do you want to go back for overall offensive weapons?
Overall offensive weapons for the 49ers?
Yeah.
Terrell Owens, maybe? Like I know Kittle had his year a few years ago, but that was just in the pass game. Like how far back do you have to go to talk about how good Debo Samuel is? I mean, you might have to go back to the Owens, the Jerry Rice days. Like, these are names, like if you're a 49er receiver, hell, not even if you're just a 49er receiver, if you're a receiver in the NFL and you have your name being talked with Terrell Owens and Jerry Rice, you're doing something right. You're very much doing something right. And that's why I feel like it's a disrespectful thing to call him a wide receiver. He is an offensive weapon. Offensive weapon. It is something completely different. It is something that is not quantifiable with routes run, anything like that. The way that they get him the ball, completely different. And yes, Debo Samuel is not going to win the MVP this year.
Yes, Google account.
That's just not how, that's just not how it's going to work. It will be a quarterback. But you have to start to put him in this conversation now because he literally saved the Chicago game. Whatever you want to say about Arizona, whatever that's happened, but why is it that every single time that this team needs a big play, anytime, halftime or right before the half in Philly, the Detroit long bomb, fourth down seals the game? Why is it always him? Why? And that's the difference. And he's finally healthy. There's no buyer's remorse right now.
No.
In terms of, oh my goodness, you should have drafted this guy. You should have drafted that guy. You feel fine about that right now. And it's just where we're at right now. Just put him into discussion. We know he's not going to win it. Tom Brady's going to run it up. He'll end. Look, he had a bad week this week. Tom Brady's going to run it up in a few weeks, put this whole thing away, probably end up being the MVP because Kyler Murray's missed a bunch of games. That's fine. Tom Brady's going to win MVP. Cool. But I just want him to be discussed.
Yeah, I just want him in the discussion. And if it won't happen on the national side, Jason and I, we have 2 podcasts a week where we can just talk about it every week. So like we'll force it to happen if we need to. He needs that consideration. We're done with Debo. I think that's enough Debo conversation. Where we want to
go? Where do we want to go from there? Debo Samuel, Jimmy Ward, Jimmy Garoppolo,
Trent
Williams,
Elijah Mitchell, man. And you know what? From a stats perspective, 27 rushes for 91 yards doesn't exactly blow you away because Elijah Mitchell has had much better games stat-wise. Doesn't score a touchdown. I was so impressed with him this week because
He ran in between the tackles. I posted the stats from Next Gen. It was never any outside zones.
No.
The 49ers knew how they wanted to attack them. They were inside zones, tough yards, 27 for 91, kept the chains moving, kept the 49ers in good spots. I mean, I understand he broke his finger. We'll talk about that, I guess. But my goodness, what a find in the 6th round. This kid can do it all. He can do whatever you want. Home run hitter in between the tackles. So when you call him Mini Mostert, you might be doing him a little bit of a disservice.
Yeah, I think that's fair, Enrico. Very good play. That's a very fair comparison, actually, thinking about it. Like, obviously, McCaffrey more important in the right. Obviously, he's going to be nowhere near an 1,000 guy, barring some wild running back thing. But yeah, because usually we don't see receivers as important in the run game like this. It's CMC is the closest comparison, but that's because CMC is a running back and he gets those carries and running backs catch the ball more too than. Running backs are expected to do both. Receivers aren't expected to do both. So, like, while it is a comparison, it's also a little different. Debo's still in his own category in that, but that is the closest thing with Christian McCaffrey for the Panthers 2 years ago. Elijah Mitchell's very good. I'm going to make this joke until the end of time. He's why you're fine drafting running backs in the 6 rounds and not trading up into the 2nd round to draft one, things like that. Elijah Mitchell's been very good. And Jason, I saw your chart you posted, you just referenced the in between the tackles. Elijah Mitchell's been good. And we'll talk about the finger probably on Friday because it sounds like he may or may not play. We're not sure. It's still too early to worry about it. If not, another name I want to say, just because I was happy to see him back, Jeff Wilson Jr.
Very nice.
He played yesterday. I was excited to see him.
There you go.
When did he change his name to 22, by the way? Hello, NFL AZ Cards. Oh, yeah, we beat the Rams for you. You're welcome. Thank you. And also, extra you're welcome for letting Colt McCoy beat the Niners, too. You're welcome. Niners, awesome. Can I say something? I just want to say it. I'll get my negativity out real quick. Makes me a little more upset about the Sunday loss. That's all I'm going to say. The loss of the Cardinals looks so much more worse now that the Niners have been able to do that.
Not in my opinion. You know why?
Not in your opinion. Okay.
You know why? Because the Panthers had somebody come back who I was told is no longer good. I was told was washed and would make no difference. I know.
I'm going back to this. Okay.
I'm not mad. Okay. I'm not mad at Arizona for losing because they lost and they got owned by Cam Newton. Hi, guys. Cam Newton still can play football. Let's take this donation.
Is there correlation between Papa York flying from Youngstown, having a come to Jesus and letting the Niners play that? Maybe.
John York came down and said, "What the hell is going on here, man?"
No, I was more when I was saying the Cardinals, Jason. I was more talking about the Niners loss to the Cardinals.
No, I know. Okay, but I don't feel so bad because Cam Newton was owning the Cardinals. I'm good with that. I'm fine with that.
Let's go to the defensive side of the ball because I feel like we talked about everybody offensive. George Kittle 3rd downs, like we've known that.
George Kittle touchdown, back-to-back.
George Kittle touchdown, back-to-back weeks. He's looking like he's returning to form, which has been good.
And welcome to LA, Von Miller.
Welcome.
Get your rides, free tickets, because you got pancaked and you were sucking on that gas bag or that oxygen mask.
Got it. Defense. I want to start with Azeez Al-Shaair. I said it last night in a tweet. I probably could have worded it better. I said he was the best linebacker on the 49ers right now. He's definitely in the best form. And Fred Warner had a very good second half. I thought Fred Warner bounced back pretty well. The touchdown to Higbee where he got boxed out happens. I wasn't too thrilled about it, but yeah, going back to Azeez Al-Shaair, dude's everywhere. Dude is so good. And like, I don't mean this in a negative way, but he makes you forget about Dre Greenlaw.
Oh, there it is. Well, I take a lot of heat all the time for saying that. I take a lot of heat all the time for saying that. There is no way that you can say Dre Greenlaw pulls back up and you say Azeez Al-Shaair, you got to go sit down.
No way.
How?
There's no way.
How?
I don't know what broadcast you were watching. I was watching the ESPN, not the Manning cast, but the normal one. And they were talking about how, like, yeah, Greenlaw is going to come back and, like, this defense is good. And I'm just, no. Like nothing against Greenlaw. It's just Al-Shaair has been playing that much better. And I don't think you can say Greenlaw coming back makes this defense better when Al-Shaair has been there and has been good. And like I really think that it'll be more of a, because like I'm not saying bench Greenlaw for Al-Shaair. I think it's going to be a more rotational system than it was before. I think Al-Shaair has earned his right to get more snaps, especially when Greenlaw comes back, because obviously he's the starter now. Al-Shaair, like, if you can just combine what Al-Shaair does in the run game and Greenlaw does in the pass game and just say that's our linebacker, we're perfect, we're set. But I think what Al-Shaair does against the run game is much more important than what Greenlaw does against the pass game. And that's why I think Al-Shaair needs to be the guy when Greenlaw does get healthy.
It's a good problem to have.
It's a very good problem to have.
But here's the thing. 49er fans have moments with Dre Greenlaw burned in their mind.
Not taking that away. Yeah, you're right.
I'm not either. You have 2 Seattle moments in 2019, and you have the Rams game last year in which he made that play on Darrell Henderson, which ended up with that Jason Verrett interception during that goal-to-goal situation, which one more thing I have to say about the Rams. Why do the Rams constantly play their worst games? The drops yesterday were disgusting.
Yes.
And they constantly do it just against the 49ers. Anyway, regardless. The perception around Dre Greenlaw will cost you more money than the guy who is going to be a free agent next year, because you will have to give Dre Greenlaw an extension. My question is that investment worth more than the production you're getting from Azeez Al-Shaair for much less? And that's the point that I try to get across, because everybody always tries to kill me for my Greenlaw takes. Look, you want to bring up missed tackles and he doesn't miss them? Cool. You can't miss tackles if you're not attempting them, if you're taking poor angles towards them. And he's regressed. It's been on the tape. I hate to be that guy. I really do, but it's there. It's in front of you. Yes. Azeez Al-Shaair is balling, and for much less. And right now, you can trade Dre Greenlaw and get something valuable for him. Someone believes that he's worth a second or a third round pick. Let them pay him.
Yeah.
No disrespect. No disrespect.
No, none whatsoever. We Jason, you and I understand what Dre Greenlaw has done for this franchise in his very short 3 years. Like his 2 plays in Seattle in 2019 are iconic. Like, they're always going to exist. But if we're talking about who would you rather have in the year 2021, a healthy Azeez Al-Shaair and what he's done, or a healthy Dre Greenlaw? I would say Al-Shaair, and that's just what it is. I see people saying, 3 linebackers. They don't do that terribly often. The Niners don't. I don't think that's going to happen. It's why last year was it last year when they traded Quan Alexander, and that's when Greenlaw snaps started going up. It seems like they tend to do 5-2 or even having more, secondary help, things like that.
Look at the X's and O's from Pasquini.
X's and O's guy, Andrew Pasquini. And like things like the missed tackles, right? With Greenlaw, if you watch the Detroit film, right? Or the Detroit tape, don't want to be the tape guy, but here I am. The reason he misses tackles is because he shifted to allow the runner to go through where he was supposed to be. And things like that.
And Fred Warner doesn't show guys up, but there was literally a run where Jamal Williams is running for like 25 yards, and he turns and looks at Dre Greenlaw. Yeah. Why weren't you in your gap? Like, what are you doing, man? Yes. Like, and that's a lot of the stuff that they were talking about as far as execution. And I don't want to pile on Dre Greenlaw because he obviously got hurt in that game and hasn't come back or anything like that. I'm just saying, from a business standpoint, right now, Azeez Al-Shaair can ask for more money than he thought he would get. It's not going to cost you anywhere near what Dre Greenlaw is going to be asking for.
Vader Joe, you said what my brain couldn't train. K1's usually in over the third linebacker. That's where my brain was trying to get to.
Nickel corner.
And actually, speaking of K1 Williams, the interception of the year that wasn't called, like that, like to me, like as a ref, when the game is over, you just pick up that flag and say,
let it go.
Interception. Let's let it play. That was K'Wan Williams looked really good. I'm gonna say it. Josh Norman looked good because I didn't really hear his name. That was
Ooh, no, no,
fantastic.
no.
We're
Ooh,
happy.
ooh, ooh, ooh,
No, okay. The one where he jumped
ooh.
too early, that was
Ooh.
brutal. But I didn't really notice him, so I felt good on that. Mosley, dude, Emmanuel Mosley. He looked fine. He looked really good.
If dropped interceptions were a stat, he would be the man.
Talanoa Hufanga had a very good pass breakup on the
On a
Emmanuel Mosley. You saw
so
him swipe his arm through.
he's so in tune with the ball right now that he literally knocked it out of Mosley's hand. No, look. Hufanga is low key a perfect complement with Jimmy Ward there. And that's really good because Jimmy Ward does everything so well on the back end that Tavon Wilson can't do for you in terms of cleaning up the coverages, understanding what they want to do. And Hufanga gets to play closer to the line of scrimmage because of that. You can't do that with Tavon Wilson. And again, Hufanga made a mistake last week, but he learned. And that's why I wasn't going to kill him for it. That's a rookie learning. And I'm good with that. When Drake or Patrick, not on his team anymore, or Josh Norman makes mistakes, that's what I can't deal with because you're not learning anything. You're a veteran. If you don't know now, you're not going to know. He's a rookie. So Hufanga kind of showed you a glimpse of, look, big Jaquaski Tart podcast, friend of the podcast. I don't think he's going to be here next year. And this is a glimpse of what you're going to see probably down the line. And this is good that they start to develop that chemistry. And, like I said, friend of the podcast, been on our podcast, first 49ers player we've ever had on here. Love Jaquaski Tart over here.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's going to be back next year. So you're getting a glimpse of this. And this was a good first step.
And it's kind of, and this might feel like a slight at the 49ers. It's not. It's more of a, this is why you play the guys, right? Was Hufanga's first start Indianapolis, right? You could see the mistakes he was making. He didn't have a great game against Indianapolis, but last night he felt like a different player, and you could see where he's learning his mistakes and making improvements. And last night was the first time I've came away really impressed from Hufanga since the preseason. And I know obviously that's because of snap counts and things like that.
He was good in the Bears game.
He was good in the Bears game, yes. But last night was the game where I feel like I really noticed him. I feel like he was all over the place. He was making plays, and that to me is why, even if you don't know if they're ready, you play rookies so they can learn and improve week to week. And we're seeing it with Hufanga. We are seeing the improvement week to week with him. And it's obviously Aaron Banks and Trey Lance and Trey Sermon and all those guys exist, and we want to see them play. But that's why we see it, right? Like we see the improvement. I saw that's what I laughed at earlier.
I'm sorry. I didn't want to because you're making great points.
I noticed it early and I laughed.
You're making great points.
But yeah, man, like this is why you play the rookies. You get them those reps, because as much as practice you think can help, you're not getting those game reps in practice, obviously, because those are practice reps. You're seeing the improvement every week with Talanoa Hufanga. And yeah, man, like I love Jaquaski Tart. He's a big part of why I'm back. I started watching the Niners again after the Harbaugh years. It is what it is, man. The NFL's a business, and maybe we see him move on, maybe we won't. But
he's going to get it back somewhere else. Someone else is going to recognize
somebody
what he
will,
does, and that's the thing.
But Talanoa Hufanga makes that loss not as
more bearable,
impactful, right? Yeah, it makes it a little better. So,
yeah.
What other names?
Hold up. Yeah, you ready?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Good for you, Robbie Gold. Yesterday was the greatest day of my life. Robbie Gold made a 50-yarder. And not only just a 50-yarder, I think it would have been good from like 62 or something like that, like that far. Move over, birth of Averly. Robbie Gold making that 50-yarder, greatest day of my life. I am so happy. I love kickers so much. And when he made that kick, like a tear rolled down my eyes. I was so happy. I was so happy. Beautiful, man. A 50-yard kick from a 49ers kicker that you're paying that money to. Unbelievable, man. Way to go, Robbie Gold, man. Way to go. So inspirational.
Arden Key entered this season with 2 career sacks, 3 career sacks. He has 2 his last 2 weeks. So there's a name I want to mention. Nick Bosa had another sack, but we're used to Nick Bosa having sacks. DJ Jones had the huge play on the fake field goal. We already touched on that. I just want to make sure we're saying names. Brandon Ayuk,
He was
we're
good
seeing
when
him
called on.
used more and more. Jawan Jennings got a few snacks. God, I'm hungry.
Snacks.
Snaps. I don't know where I got snacks from. Oh my goodness. I'm tired, man. Snaps, little things.
You're
like
tired.
that.
It's 6:20 on your side. I've been dealing with my kid. It's 9:20 over here on this side.
Long day, my guy. Long day.
All day.
I don't know, man. Jason, we've been talking for 50 minutes.
This has been fun.
This has been the most fun we've had on a pod. It's almost like when the Niners have good games, they're easier to talk about.
Here's one name. Way to go, Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, we haven't even mentioned his name. He got the game ball last night.
To go, buddy. Way to go. Way to go, man. You stuck to the game plan. They executed it. For all the things that I have been criticizing you for, your team executed. There was not many penalties. You stuck to the game plan. You ran the ball. You understood the assignment. Kyle Shanahan understood the assignment this week, and he executed it, and so did his players. So for all of the stuff that I have been yelling at him about, because for the same reason that Kyle Shanahan gets on Brandon Ayuk, I don't yell at you because I don't think that I think you're bad, is because I expect more. There it is, right there. And Sean McVay, I don't know who you need to hear this from, because you were frustrated after that Jimmy Ward pick. I saw it. He put the play sheet over his face and was like, yeah. Kyle Shanahan owns you, buddy. Hey. Owns you, pal.
And that's okay.
You better figure it out very fast. I don't want to hear anything about Kyle Shanahan's tree doing better than Kyle Shanahan when Kyle Shanahan knows how to get you. And Sean McVay is feeling it right now. Sean McVay did everything to get away from Jared Goff. Matthew Stafford was awful in this game. Awful. All this stuff. Odell Beckham, Von Miller, all these guys. Doesn't matter, bro. Does not matter. Mm-hmm. And look, I understand. Odell Beckham only played like 17 snaps.
Whatever it was, yeah. I didn't expect much from him.
Me either.
Yeah.
But Kyle Shanahan, thank you, buddy. There you are. Nice to see you. Now, do it again against Jacksonville.
Do it again. Dude, Kyle Shanahan played for the win last night. He went for it on 4th and 6.
Oh,
what
that was borderline smash the table in half, because you know me. I don't care about kicking. So we're not going to punt. We're not going to take a field goal there. On 4th down, you go for the dagger and you step on their neck. And that was man, that is my coach. That's what I've been waiting for. Way to go, Shanahan. Way to go.
And it turns out that, there we go. Kyle greater than McVay, Brunskill greater than Donald, Debo greater than the entire secondary. I love it. That's a great
Thank you,
chart.
Luke Luna, for your donation, man. Appreciate
it. And you talk about going for the dagger. He not only went for the dagger, but he sunk that in. He sunk that dagger in with. Oh, I want to make a joke, but I'm not going to make a serial killer joke. But he put the dagger, because that was the play where Debo busts out and he scores a touchdown. Like not only did he put the dagger, he reached for it. He with such emphasis. I think that's the word I'm looking for. And the Niners put the game away on a 4th and 6 where Kyle's going for the win, and you see what happens.
Call timeout. Come in here. Here's the play. Game over. Lights out. And no chance for any sort of miraculous comeback or nonsense.
No.
Dagger. I love it. Keep going, Kyle. Keep going, buddy.
I think that's it. I think that's all we have.
3 stars?
Oh yeah. I'm leading to the 3 stars. I gotta do our normal thing where I say, hey, now's a good time to subscribe, like, notifications, the Jason Aponte YouTube channel. It's the best YouTube channel there is. I love it. I watch all his new releases. And he's very good. He goes on live after games, all that fun stuff. He gives instant reactions. So if you're here and you haven't been here, I saw a Cardinals fan here. Hit subscribe. We'll talk about the Cardinals here. Wait,
and
no, we
the
won't. The Niners
Ramley
already played the Cardinals twice.
and the Ramley pulled up to the
Yeah.
comments and they left something about, oh, the faithless are here. Joke's on you, pal. I do this every week.
Yeah, Jason
So
does this every week. He talks to himself. I'm still waiting for the text, but he talks to himself after
But
games.
Andrew, you don't like doing it because you want to get your emotions in order. Like, it's easier after a win, right?
Yeah,
Because
no,
then we can
it's
just
very
lap
much easier
everything.
after a
But
win.
after losses, it's harder to compute. That's why those losses are more somber for me, because I try to like reel it in. But then everybody tunes into the post games because they think Spicy Aponte is going to pull up.
Yeah, dude. Hey, that's the branding, right? That's we give it to them once, they tune in for it, just never give it again, right? That's just what it is. Well, hey, Jason, if you ever want a friend to talk to on those post games, let me
Good.
know.
I like
I'm
that,
here.
Andrew. I
I'm
would
here
love
for
to do
you.
it. I would
10
love to do that.
10 a.m. Jacksonville game. Oh, dude,
Oh yeah.
I gotta wake up early on. Gross.
Oh yeah. Oh
Gotta
yeah.
watch
I get
Urban.
that game out of the way real quick, and I get to enjoy
Gotta
the rest of the football that day. So yes, I
gotta
would
watch
love.
Urban Meyer. Gross. Oh man, I can't wait for Friday's podcast. I get to slander.
Don't sleep on the
Urban.
Jaguars though, and we'll get into that in the preview game.
Oh yeah, no, we're not.
This
But
is not the time to start lollygagging.
oh yeah, no, it's not. But as a Florida State fan, I will take every opportunity I can get to slander Urban
To
Meyer.
dunk on Urban Meyer.
I love to hate Urban Meyer. It's my favorite thing. I cannot wait when he's coaching USC next year. Jason Aponte, 3 stars. I think this is going to be one of the. We might agree on the first one. We'll see.
We might agree on the first one
because we never talk about our 3 stars. We keep this segment fresh. We don't discuss who our 3 stars are. My 3 stars. My third star is going to be Aziz Al-Shaair. Nice we already talked about him. He deserves all the recognition, man. He has been balling out. He has taken Dre Greenlaw's spot and he has made it his. He has looked good. He's all over the place. He's hitting hard. He's making plays, and I'm a big Aziz Al-Shaair guy.
Yeah. Third star Trent Williams. I mean, the fact that you have no idea and you never hear his name. I mean, when you watch all 22, it is breathtaking. And I mean, this is teach tape for tackles. The problem is you can't teach what Trent Williams does because he's a unicorn. And I just want to make sure that 49er fans understand that you have the best in the world at left tackle, and it's not close. David Bakhtiari could win whatever all-pro he wants to win, and whatever, that's fine. He's not close. Nobody's close to Trent Williams right now. Amazing, and absolutely, like, Brad Graham watches Trent Williams and literally is like Birdman hand rub, and it's just like warming his hands up watching Trent Williams dominate grown men. Trent Williams is the best in the game, and the 49ers have that. Enjoy it while it's here.
I love Trent Williams, and my favorite Trent Williams fact, and it'll always be, and I think I said it last week, the Niners replaced Joe Staley with Trent Williams.
And it was an upgrade.
How dumb is that? Like Joe Staley, all-time great Niner, and they somehow upgraded the position. Insanity. My second star is Debo Samuel, because he's the dude. He is the guy. He's whatever you want him to be. He's an offensive weapon, an OW. I think I don't want it to come off as a negative because I mean it as a positive. I think what Shanahan is doing with Debo this year is him finally realizing Jalen Hurd was never gonna happen, and now he is doing what he pictured for Jalen Hurd with Debo, and Debo is doing it at a level that a Niners offense has not seen in so long. He is an offensive weapon. You put him on the field, and he's going to make it work. He was a running back and rushed for a touchdown yesterday. He's a wide receiver. He does everything for this offense. He is everything for this offense. And I don't know if you've heard, Jason, but there are whispers. There are whispers of Debo MVP candidacy. So I don't know where it's coming from. Maybe the Sprint Right Option podcast. I don't know where it's coming from. But just tell your friends that there's a whispers, and if you say this podcast name, that whispering it, maybe, it's an advertising scheme. Who knows? But Debo Samuel needs to be in the MVP conversation.
100%. My second star, Jimmy Ward. I'm so happy for you, buddy. And I'm so happy that it happened on a national stage and it didn't get lost in the shuffle of a 1:00 game. I am tired of 49er fans looking me in my face and saying that Jimmy Ward doesn't have an impact. You either don't understand what you're looking at or you don't understand the game. He literally wipes out routes and they never throw him the ball. For him to get 2 interceptions and have them happen back-to-back drives, including one be an interception run back for a touchdown. Now, all of a sudden, Jimmy Ward is getting his flowers. People are recognizing, listen, I am here for it all. Jimmy Ward, you are the heartbeat right now of this defense immediately when you pull up. And you know what else, too, Jimmy Ward did? Jimmy Ward went on Grant Cohn's show and talked wild crazy about Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford. And he said, man, I don't know. Sean McVay's going to try me. He's going to try me. And I don't know why he keeps trying me. And Matthew Stafford is Matthew Stafford. And I didn't agree with him when he said it. Matthew Stafford is the guy from Detroit. He's like, man, he goes, is that the Lions or is that him? He had Megatron. Nothing happened. Jimmy Ward walks around with supreme confidence and balled out this week and literally is the heartbeat of this defense right now. And in a time when the 49ers are looking for leaders, Jimmy Ward is your defensive leader right now. And I'm talking to everybody on this defense. That means over Fred Warner, over Nick Bosa, Jimmy Ward is that right now because he walks around with that confidence and he does his job. Now, I'm glad that 49er fans are getting to see it because even the people who talk crazy about Jimmy Ward right now are sitting there and saying, man, look at that guy. You are lucky. And it goes to show you that football is never a 1 year, 2 year thing. No. And eventually you will find out the cream rises to the crop. Proud of you, Jimmy Ward. Proud of you, man, because I've been behind you for a long time. I'm happy that a lot of 49er fans got to sit there and realize this now.
Go have fun in YouTube, cream of the crop, Macho Man Randy Savage. One of the greatest promos of all time. The cream always rises. That's a terrible Macho Man. Jimmy Ward is number 1 on the Niners. He's number 1 on the defense per Jason Aponte, and he's my number 1 star for all the reasons Jason Aponte just said. Listen, man, I'm a big believer that if you double your interception total of your career in one game, you're going to get that number 1 star. And I mean, that pick 6, man, like just looking back on the game, obviously you can't say a play in the first quarter ended a game, but a play in the first quarter ended a game. That pick 6 put that game away. In my opinion, now that I'm looking back on it 24 hours later, I didn't feel it at the time, but just looking back, I mean, literally, because it made it 14-0. And the Rams only scored 10 points. So Jimmy Ward won the game with an interception in the first quarter. Plus all the reasons Jason Aponte said. Jimmy Ward is my number 1 star of the game.
My number 1 star, Robbie Gold. No.
Tom Compton is his actual number 1.
No, because I see people saying that as well too. No. Debo Samuel. And it continues to be this every single week. I don't know where this team would be without Debo Samuel. I really don't. And that is no sort of hyperbole or hot take moment. Every single time the 49ers need a big play, it comes from Debo Samuel. Look, all props to Jimmy Garoppolo on that 4th down throw because he threw it in anticipation, threw it in the right spot, and Debo made it happen. But why is it that every single big play on offense that we can put our thumb on is Debo Samuel? Literally in Chicago, was at the game. That catch and run saved the game. Mm-hmm. The 49ers were losing that game. Couldn't stop the Bears on offense. Swings the game. Debo Samuel is clutch, evolving in front of your eyes, and should be in the MVP discussion. Probably won't win it. I've already talked about it. I think it's going to be Tom Brady. Tom Brady's going to go out there next week and probably smoke whoever is in front of him. Oh, the New York Giants on Monday Night Football, smoke them for 5 touchdowns and get some sort of revenge for Super Bowls that he can't get back. And everybody will be right back on the Tom Brady's the MVP thing. But Debo Samuel is the engine of this offense. Yeah. And this team would nowhere be in any sort of position that they're in right now without him. And you will not be able to convince me otherwise. Debo Samuel is my number 1 star in this game, man. I am so happy to see his progression because people want to tell me, you should have took this guy, you should have took this guy. Pair Debo Samuel with Kyle Shanahan. You are seeing the vision and you are watching the growth. This is amazing.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Debo Samuel has been phenomenal. And yeah, as I said, people are saying MVP candidate. That's all.
People
be saying it. Jason, do you have any final thoughts? I don't think it's coincidence that the 49ers are 1-0 in the Silk Sonic era, but hey.
Oh, I was going to say, I took a week off from listening. I listened to it today. It's even better than I thought it was before.
Oh, I've listened to it about 14 times since it came out.
Album of the year, still not close. But yes, the 49ers are 1-0 in the Silk Sonic era with a chance to come to the East Coast. Unfortunately, I won't be in Jacksonville. Daddy duties. I'll be here. But the 49ers are, and I want to implore 49er fans to, well, whatever, because the team doesn't care what I have to say. Do not overlook this Jacksonville team.
No.
2 weeks ago, just beat the Buffalo Bills. Last week, literally played the Indianapolis Colts after it looked like it was about to be a slaughter in the first quarter to the final gun, basically. On the East Coast, you've got to make the trip now on a short week. On a short week. You played on Monday. Now you got to make the move over there. The 49ers win this game, but do not act like this is any sort of this is any sort of like rollover on them. Do not sleepwalk through this game. Mm-hmm. Continue this momentum and start stacking those wins. So this is a good week, though. And what I want to tell 49er fans before we go, enjoy the win, please. Yes. Because
it is fun.
It has been so bad around here for so long. Enjoy the win. Do not nitpick. Do not tell me what you didn't like. Put on your rose-colored glasses for 1 week, and I will not be upset at you at all. Come on. Please. Just enjoy the win. Please.
Please enjoy, because, hey, man, they've only had 4 of them this year. Let's enjoy them all, and maybe they start rolling, because the schedule, I know Jason said don't look past the Jaguars. Well, that schedule looking pretty nice right now. I'm just saying, knock on wood, or whatever the kids say nowadays. Jason, Aponte, as always.
Let's go Niners, and the Yankees called about Matt Olson.
And Corey Seager and Debo for MVP.
Hey. Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners.